Good morning everyone, my name is Audrey. I am Stitchywitch42 here on FlossTube and over on Instagram. And today is Sunday, the 18th of December. It's just a week until Christmas. I honestly wasn't sure if I was going to get another video put out this year. I just haven't been stitching a lot. But I've got an FFO and I have a finish and I have a new start, so I have been stitching, but not as much as I had been prior to stuff, you know. Anyway, I thought that I would come on this morning. I'm upstairs in the library. I like the way the library is now that I have my desk turned around and I'm facing out the window. Excuse me, dry throat. So this time I have my camera sitting on the desk, so the light from the window is coming in from behind it, so hopefully when I show pieces you'll be able to see them, because the last time I recorded a video up here in the library, I did it sideways to the window and everything was blown out, and you would think that after 5 years I would know what I'm doing, but I'm still struggling. Struggle bus. It's me. So, I want to start with my giveaway from last time. And I want to talk about giveaways in general. And I want to do that first. Having done FlossTube now for 5 years, I have learned that I have to set a limit on myself for how long I will wait for somebody to reply to me about a giveaway. And my rule of thumb is that I will announce that I'm doing a giveaway. The following video or on the community page on YouTube, I will list the winners. I also go back and I comment on the person's original comments that they've won. And if I haven't heard from them by the time I record my next video, I redraw and send it off to a new winner. I understand that some people don't think that's fair. Sorry. When I first started doing FlossTube, I would try to hunt people down and to get them to reply to me, and you know, it could take a couple of months to get a giveaway done, and that's too long. So I had to set a time limit for myself. And if you're one of the people who have missed out on getting something from me from a giveaway because you didn't reply within my time frame, I'm sorry, but life, I don't have the time to hunt people down. So, moving on. I offered up a journal from the Black Needle Society for a giveaway on my last video, and I asked people to send me a receipt of a donation that they made, because I thought at this time of the year that would be a nice thing to do. And I was kind of shocked that only 2 people sent me a copy of the receipt. I get it. It's a tough time of the year for everybody, no matter what your circumstances are. The holidays is added stress for everybody. On the other hand, having only 2 people, it made it really easy, because I wrote down on a piece of paper one name, and I wrote down on a piece of paper the other name, and I put them in my hands, and I walked up to Mark and I said, grab a hand. He grabbed one, I opened it up, and the winner of the Black Needle Society journal is Michelle Custer. So, Michelle, I have your address. I will get it sent out. Whether or not I send it out before Christmas, I don't know, because the post office is crazy right now, so I will get it to you as soon as possible. Okay. So like I've mentioned, I haven't really been doing a lot of stitching, but then again, apparently I have because I have an FFO. When I got out of the hospital with the ruptured appendix, and I really want to stop talking about that because I am feeling much better, thank you very much. I feel really good, as a matter of fact. I still haven't heard when the next CAT scan is. It'll be sometime in January, and depending on what they see on the CAT scan, I might not have to have what remains of my appendix removed. But anyway, when I got out of the hospital, I wasn't really wanting to stitch. In fact, for the past couple of months, I've been doing a lot of reading on my cell phone. I like reading Harry Potter fan fiction, and the nice thing about it is that I can do that on my cell phone if I'm at work, if I'm at a doctor's office, if I'm stuck in traffic. It's always there. And for me, reading Harry Potter fan fiction is all these characters that I know and I love have come to life in a whole different way in fan fiction, and some of the stories are just absolutely amazing. First of all, I'm in awe of anybody who can write a good story. I can't. I can't. But reading fan fiction is like having my friends with me. And when I don't feel like cross-stitching, when I don't feel like doing any paper crafting, reading is something that I can do at any time, any place, anywhere. That's what I was doing after the hospital. But I had one piece that I needed to get finished because it's a Christmas gift. And I've shown you the pattern before. Of course, I don't have it with me. But you'll see what it looks like in just a moment. Or two. Or three. Anyway, it was the Sue Hillis design, High Tides and Good Vibes. My neighbors have a camper. They like to go camping. I stitched them a camper piece, I think last year, that had like a Christmas tree lot around it. So this one is a beach scene. And I just thought it was really cute and that, you know, they might like it. And I wanted to get it finished. So it was the one that I picked up. And I went up to Acorns and Threads for a stitchy day, and I took it with me and I worked on it there, and I did a little bit more here and there, and I finally got it done. And then I set it aside, and it's like, I have to fully finish it. I don't want to. Seriously? I can do the whinies. I don't want to, like nobody else. I knew how I wanted to finish it. I just didn't want to. So it sat up here for a couple of weeks. And I finally told myself, okay, go watch Vonna's tutorial. Vonna Pfeiffer, the Twisted Stitcher. This woman is the first person that I ever watched on FlossTube. And when I saw she had tutorials, I watched all of them. I have learned how to do finishing because of Vonna. Is my finishing anywhere near as good as hers? No. No, it's not. But the lady has made that her profession, and she shares tutorials, and that is an amazing gift. So on the offhand chance that Vonna is watching my video, thank you, lady, for everything you have done for this community. You are an amazing soul. Okay, I went and I pulled up her video on doing a folded flat mount. I've done this before. I know how to do it. But I thought, you know, a refresher would be good. And she has changed it up a little bit from the first time I watched her flat mount finish. This time, she showed how she laces the back of her pieces. I've done some lacing, but I didn't really know how to do it. I didn't. So I watched this video, I saw how she did the lacing, and it was like, oh my gosh, that it is so simple. So I again took notes like I always do when I watch her tutorials, even though I've made a folded flat mount before. And I came upstairs and I got the dimensions for my piece, and I asked Mark to cut out 5 pieces of mat board for me. And he did. And I set about putting it together and promptly made a beginner mistake. Vonna showed how she puts a piece of batting not only under the stitched piece, she also puts it under the fabric on the back side. I did that. The back side is where you're supposed to put the longer piece of material to use it to wrap around to make what she refers to as the spine of the folded flat mount. That's where I messed up. I used one of the smaller pieces of fabric on it, and when I realized I had done it wrong, I walked away from it, and I was at work the next day and I thought to myself, just go cut another longer piece of fabric and put it over the piece of fabric that you've already glued around the back. It's not going to make a difference, and all it did was add an extra layer of fabric on the back, and it looks fine. So, thank you, Vonna, for teaching me once again how to finish my projects. I still have a way to go. But this is my version of Sue Hillis, High Tides and Good Vibes. It is a folded flat mount. I have a piece of ribbon down on the bottom with a 1-inch gap to hold it open. I use this fabric on the back of each piece, and I use some Lady Dot chenille. The colorway is Rainy, because I think it looks really good with the color of the Aida that I used, and I think it looks really good with the fabric on the back, and I really, really hope that my neighbors enjoy it. So, FFO. Okay, and then I promptly went back to not stitching again, because, you know, I don't know, it's been a thing. So, since I always tell stories, I have to tell you the story about losing my wallet. Oh, what a day that was. I had been watching Niecie Lynn, and she had been telling her story about microwaving her cell phone. And I thought, oh my gosh, that would just be horrible. Because it had her credit cards in there, and it had her ID in there, and I was going over to my daughter's house. I wanted her to do a favor for me, and I was bribing her with coffee. I sent her a text. I said, do you want a coffee drink, or do you want coffee pods? And she didn't reply. So I drove down to the store, and I went in, and I went to their little coffee shop, and I bought her coffee. I know what coffee she likes. And then I went into the store, and I bought her a package of coffee pods and a bottle of creamer, because I know what coffee she likes and what creamer she likes. I know I had my wallet there because I took it out twice, one to pay for the drink and one to pay for the coffee. And I put the receipts in my wallet. And apparently, when I was walking out to my car, instead of putting my wallet in my back pocket, I must have dropped it on the ground somewhere. And I didn't realize it. Went to my daughter's house. When I was leaving, and I was going to get in the car, I do what I always do, is I reach around to pat my back pocket to make sure that my cell phone's on one side and my wallet is on the other side. and there was no wallet. So I went back into my daughter's house and we looked all around and it wasn't anywhere in the house, and I walked back around the front of her house the way I'd come in and it wasn't there, and I searched in the car and it wasn't there, and I drove back to the store and I parked in the area that I had parked before, and I searched all around the parking lot, and I walked inside and I said, "Did anybody turn in a wallet?" And they said no. And I said a word, mentally. Y'all know what word it was. It was capital letters, exclamation, word. So I called Mark and I said, open up the laptop, go to the banking information, get me the number for the bank so I can call them as soon as I get home and cancel the card. My lovely husband didn't do that. When I walked in the house, he handed me his debit card and said the number's on the back here. And I said, honey, that doesn't work. Your debit card is through the credit union. Mine is through the checking account, which is the local bank. He goes, oh, yeah, oh. So I called them and I had my banking information open, and I double checked first that all the transactions in there were mine. And I told that to them, and we canceled that card. And she goes, now you know you can go into any branch and they will make you a new debit card today. And I was like, really? I was thinking that I would be waiting anywhere from 10 days to 2 weeks to get a debit card, and what a pain in the that was going to be. And she said, no. She goes, do you have any ID? And I said, well, no, my driver's license was in there. And I said, will a passport work? And she said, yes, it will. I said, okay, I can take care of this. So Mark went and got my passport for me. And I also grabbed my water bill off the table downstairs because I've got to get a new driver's license too. And not only do they want ID proving who you are, they also want a letter saying, proving your address. Okay. So went to the bank, got the new debit card, and then we drove to the DMV. I live in Silverton, Oregon. The big DMV is in Salem, Oregon, which is 15-20 miles west of me. And I don't like going to that DMV at all because there are a lot of people, and you either have to make an appointment or you have to wait forever if you go to that DMV. But there's another one that's not too far from us that's never that busy. So I asked Mark to drive me there, and as we're driving along, I'm thinking to myself, oh crap. They're going to have to take a new picture of me. And my hair it was a bad hair day. It was the caca hair day. And I have no makeup on. I didn't even put lotion on my face. And I'm thinking, and they're going to take a picture of me and it's going to be on my driver's license for 8 years. Word. It was a word day. So we get to the DMV and I walk in there. And I take my number, and I'm 32, and I look up, and the number up there is 31, and it's like, yeah, I like coming here. But they're going to take my picture, and I don't want them to. So I waited my turn, and I go up there, and I laid out my driver's license form and my water bill, and I told him my story about losing my ID in the wallet. And he goes, well, you got everything I need here. He goes, the only question I have for you is, do you want to have a new picture taken today, or do you want me to use the one from your one that you lost? And I said, you can do that? Yes, please. Yes, please. It's not the best picture, but it's better than I looked that day. I got my new driver's license in the mail yesterday, so I'm back on track. The only thing I don't have is my wallet. When I got home from doing all of that, I contacted Heather, Punky Purls, because she's the one that made my wallet. And I know it's because of how awesome that wallet was that I will never see it again. I think I shared it with you when she first gave it to me. It was a simple flat wallet. It had an inside zipper pocket. It had an outside tuck pocket, and then it had a place to put debit and credit cards with a strap that folded over it. The nice thing about it is it fit in my back pocket really good, and it was great for work because all I ever had in there was my driver's license and my debit card, and this time there was 2 receipts in there that I had just done from transactions and a copy of a pay stub. No personal information on there. But it was a really nice wallet. Except for the fact that she chose fabric that had a great big spider on it because she knows I don't like spiders. That's okay. That's all right. I contacted her. I told her what happened. I said, will you make me another one? And I said, blue fabric. Or something with Wednesday Addams on it. You know, something that's more me. And she laughed and she said she would. So I will get that eventually. All will be good. But I have my new debit card and I have my new driver's license. And I'm using my old wallet right now, which is the one that I use that has everything in it, which doesn't fit in my back pocket. I'm not a purse person. If it doesn't fit in my wallet, I generally don't have it. Okay, enough about that. More cross stitch. So, I know that I had, on my last video, shared with you that I was working on Erica Michael's Bristol Berries II, stitching this on a 36 count white Edinburgh linen with Classic Colorworks Belle Sois Poison Apple. This is the one that I was stitching. And I finished it. I haven't fully finished it because I'm going to wait. I want to stitch the other 2. And the fabric's not ironed because I don't iron until I have to. But that is my finish there on the first one. Now I know I want to stitch the other 2. And what I'm trying to decide is I really, really like the Poison Apple. I think it's pretty. There is some variegation in there, but not a tremendous amount. And I'm okay with that because normally I'm a DMC stitcher. So my question, and I would seriously like your opinions on this. One of the reasons why I started stitching this is because I wanted to stitch something for Christmas. And while there are a lot of gorgeous Christmas patterns out there, a lot of them are just not my aesthetic. And I thought, these, stitched in red on white fabric, are Christmassy, right? But when I finished stitching this one, and I thought about stitching 2 more that were all in red, and I know that there's people out there that say you always have red work on the go, and that's all good and fine and everything. I started thinking to myself, do I want to use the same color of red? Do I want to go up and find a different Belle Sois in a different color of red? And then I thought, I have some just for you silks in blue. And it's my favorite color of blue. And blue and white is something that always speaks to my heart. So I was thinking I might stitch this one in the blue just for you silk. And I thought, well, you know, that would look really good, and it would kind of sort of still qualify for a Christmas stitch. The middle one, do I stitch it in red? Do I stitch it in blue? Do I go for a different color? Do I go for a green? Green on white would look really good. Do I do a DMC? Do I do a Belle Sois? Do I go for a greenish black? Ooh, do I stitch it in black? Help. Please. Give me your opinions. Should I stitch the other 2 in different colors of red? Should I do the one in blue, which really appeals to me? And if I do that, what color do I use on the third one? Help me out, please. Give me some ideas. So, I got that finished. And I was thinking, do I want to start anything else before the end of the year? Do I want to pick up and finish the things that I still haven't finished this year? So I wrote down a list, as I do, of what I haven't finished. I just have to find it. So, projects that I have started that I still haven't finished are my Alphonse Mucha, which I started in 2020. And it sits across from me in the living room and stares at me constantly. But, yeah, I'm just not feeling her right now. My Halloween Afghan Village. Halloween Village Afghan. Yeah, that's the way you say it. I also started it in 2020. It's sitting right on the floor next to my chair, but it's Christmas, and I don't really want to stitch on Halloween. But winter is when I like to stitch on it, which is why it's sitting down there. Then I have my Moon Charm, which is on that gorgeous cosmic Aida from Bestitch Me. I started that in January of 2021, but that's not speaking to me at all. Frogwart's Year 2. Started that in 2021. It's also not talking to me. I would like to get that one finished. Yeah. Then I have Nightmare Before Coffee, which is the one that I was stitching out of the Just Cross Stitch Halloween. And I was stitching it on Aida, which is that pale orange color. And when I was showing that in my last video and it was all blown out, I realized you don't really see the yellow in it, and was thinking to myself, I need to restart it on something else. And I watched Mary, the Daydream Stitcher, and she had it on her video on a dark purpley blue, bluish purple, a color like, and it popped. And it was like, I need to redo this on a blue. So I came upstairs and I can't show you because it's got stitching on it. I found some 32 count Twilight that I had. Gorgeous blue. And I set it aside so that I could restart Nightmare Before Christmas. But did I? No. No. Spoiler. No, I didn't. I used that Twilight for something else. We'll get there. The other piece that I have is Sois. Don't ask me who Sois is by. I have to look that up. I'll list it down below. I started that in September of this year. But again, it wasn't calling to me. Don't worry about it. Put it down. Grab my book. Start reading. Go upstairs. Work on some journaling stuff. Yeah, do that. I'm going to pause for a moment. My camera is about to shut itself off. I'll be back in just a moment. For the life of me, I do not know why I tell you that my camera is going to die, because I'm going to splice it together, and if I didn't tell you, would you notice? Probably not. Maybe I just tell it to myself so that I can know where I'm supposed to splice it. I don't know. So I wasn't really feeling like stitching. I mean, yes, I have been stitching. It hasn't been a lot. But I also wanted to do some paper crafting. And I keep coming upstairs and playing with the altered book that I had worked on. This is going to be my journal for next year. I joined Linda, aka Van Mom. I joined her Patreon because she does a different type of journaling than I do, and she's talking, and on her Patreons she's been talking about how she does that, and she does paper crafting and other things. And to be honest, I have not been able to make the last couple of Zoom that she's done because of my work schedule, but that's okay. I got this book done, and if you remember, this is an altered book. So I've got the inside here. I tore out a couple of pages, and then I left 2 pages to make a pocket here, and I decorated every page. And I tore out a few more pages here, and I left 2 pages here to make this pocket, and I decorated. And I tore out pages, and I made this pocket that has 2 pockets there, and I decorated. And so on, and so on, and so on, and so on, and so on. And I am really, really enjoying this journal. I love the way it's decorated. I love the pockets that I made. And I keep coming up here and playing with it. I've made, let's see if I hang it this way. Can you see the little charms that I've made it? I've just added them onto paper clips. I've been making journaling cards to put in here so that I have more journaling space, and they fit in pockets. I watched Natasha on Treasure Books, and she was showing how to make a little vellum shaker envelope. There's glitter from letters that people have sent me, and I saved them, and I made this little vellum shaker envelope. So the glitter is between two pieces of the vellum, and then I taped it and I sewed it, and on the top of it I added a rubber stamp with a Hogwarts seal on it, and just playing with being crafty and trying to do things. And so I've tucked that in there, and right now I have pictures of my granddaughters in there. I've been making calendars for the month because this doesn't really have a calendar in it. So I took a piece of crafting paper and I covered the front of it, and I decoupaged a napkin on there, and I stenciled it, and then ran some paints over it so that I have a calendar inside for January. And then I have another one in here that I haven't decorated the paper yet. This is for February. And I will do that for each month of the year. And then I've been coming up here and playing with other things. I think I showed this. I have to find it. I was playing, and I took a piece of paper and I put a sticker on it, and then I sprayed over it, and then I stenciled over it. And in real life, this thing glitters like you wouldn't believe, and just has this rusty, crusty edge to it. And I don't know. It was fun to make, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And then I had on the kitchen table, which is where my laptop sits, and I have my day planner that I write all my work schedule in, and my doctor's appointments, and my this, that, and the other thing. I have a stack of envelopes because I've been getting all the statements from the insurance company on what they're paying on the medical bills. And I have a whole bunch of them, and I decided, you know, I was going to play with that, and I made this cute little pocket out of an envelope. This is an envelope that, oh my gosh, my mind went blank. My friend from Canada, the one who came down on the way to the quilt show. Oh my gosh. Total mind blank. I'm bad. I'm sorry. Anyway, I love the color of it. I didn't coffee stain it. I didn't do anything to it. But I sat here and I played with it, and I've made 2 pockets out of it. This one here, that when I take this out, you see a castle behind it because I decorated the inside of the envelope. And then there is another one in the bottom half down here. And it just slips out. And this tucks, I currently just have it sitting wrapped around the bottom of a page in this journal. And it's been things like this that have kind of been where I want, or what I've been feeling like doing more than anything else. So then the other day I received, why can't I think of your name? Oh man. The other day I received some mail, and I want to say thank you to everybody who has been sending me mail here recently, because I literally have a stack of cards that I've been receiving over the last couple of months, and I haven't shared them, and I haven't said thank you, and I apologize. It means so much to me that you've thought of me and sent me a card. Sandi. Is that it, Sandi? Is that the right name, Sandi? Please be Sandi. Anyway, another lady who had sent me a card, and has sent me mail before. Her name is Denise. Do you remember earlier in the year when I showed you the beautiful hand crocheted blue lace doily that was sent to me? That was from Denise. She sent me a card. There was a postcard, and she sent me this postcard before, the same one before. And that's okay because I really, really like it. And Denise, I need to know where you got them because I love them. I used the first one like it in one journal, and I used the second one to create another pocket out of an envelope, because these are the envelopes that my statements from my insurance company have been coming in, and they've got this great big window. So I cut the envelope down so that I had something that size. And then I cut both sides, and I glued the second postcard in here, and then I decorated the outside of it. And I don't know if you can see the shimmer that is coming through from the postcard through the plastic of the envelope, because you've got that plastic there. But this is something that, simply because she sent me a postcard and I had an envelope, and yeah, so I did that. But she also sent another little doily that she made. I'm hoping that this will fit on the top of my Erica Michaels berry. I'm hoping. I'm going to make it work some way, somehow. So thank you, Denise, for sending that to me. I do so appreciate it. I appreciate all the cards that I've received. Thank you all so much. But I got another card that had a little stitching accoutrement inside, and I wanted to share it. This is from Michelle, Maine Moose Mom. And of course it has a moose on it. Her moose is tiny. This is a big moose. But she sent me a needle binder. It's okay if you don't like cross stitch. It's kind of a smart people hobby anyway. And then she also sent, what are these called? A bulb clip with 2 little charms on there for 2021, 2022, and 2023. I already know what I'm using these for. Thank you, Michelle. And then my friend, my sister witch, Stacy. She has sent me a couple of different gifts and cards these past couple of months. And lady, I love you. I really, really, really love you. I've done exchanges with her of Christmas ornaments the last couple of years, and I will... I have one for you. I just haven't mailed it because... So she sent me another lovely little gift. This is a pin cushion that you can put on your wrist, and it has a counting pin on it and a big letter A. And I have plans on what I'm going to do with that big letter A. But thank you so much. And she wrapped it in this fabric. I'm not a plaid person, but I saw this and I have so many ideas of what to use this for in my journaling. So thank you, Stacy. Thank you so much. Your Christmas ornament will get there eventually. So with that, let's talk about word of the year. The word of the year is something that is new to me. I've heard people talk about it, and the first time I chose a word of the year was 2021. And I chose the word enough because I have enough. And by that I meant I have enough craft stuff that if I never got to go to a craft store again or an LNS or shop online, I have enough stuff that I could be creative for years and years and years, and it would be okay. The word that I chose for 2022 was grace. And I don't remember what it was that inspired me to choose that word at the beginning of the year. But here at the end of the year, I realize how important it has been for me. In my Chris Yo journal, in the front little pocket, I have some little memes and stuff that I printed off the internet, and I'm dropping everything on the floor. Stop expecting so much. Give yourself grace. I needed that at the end of this year. Another one that I just printed out the words. Give yourself the grace that you deserve for dealing with hard things time after time and for still going. Yeah. I needed that. Here's to fresh grace every day. Grace. When I chose this word, I had no idea what this year was going to hold for me. And I had no idea how important this would become at the end of the year. So I'm trying to give myself grace to not do as much as I try to do at this time of the year in the past. I did not send out cards this year. I was thinking about that. I have been sending out cards for 45 years, and this is the first time I haven't. And I thought, wow. And it's a little thing, but it was tough to make the decision not to do something that I've done for 45 years. So I've been spending some time thinking about the word that I want for 2023. I have it chosen. I have it in my altered book, and I will share that in 2023. So yeah, grace. Give yourself the grace to do what you need to do. All right, more cross stitch. You spread it out when you don't have a lot. At least I do. Okay. I was watching another fabulous floss tuber. If you don't know her, if you haven't watched her, where have you been? Because she's amazing and I love her, and I hope someday to meet her in person, but we live on opposite sides of the country. Her name is Helen D. She's East Coast Crafter on Instagram, and like Vonna, she has shared a lot of finishing tutorials. And again, she is an amazing lady. Absolutely amazing lady. Christmas stitches. I shared them on my last video. I have my Grinch that I stitched from a needlepoint pattern, and I have the Bah Humbug. And I like stuff like that. I like stuff that is Christmassy, but in an unusual way. I have watched Helen since she started making videos, and I remember when she first said that she had a nerd wall, and I fell in love with her because a nerd wall. Love it. I totally get it. I understand it. I love it. She showed a finished piece on her video, and it was one of those moments. Pause the video, back it up, watch what she's doing, write down the name of the designer, pause again, grab my notebook, write it down on my cell phone, go find this designer, and so she inspired me. The designer is Lola Crow on Etsy. And when you go there, this pattern says that it's an adorably unusual cross stitch. And it's so me. The name of this piece is called Release the Christmas Lights, but I think it should be Christmas Kraken, because this is what it'll look like when it's finished. This is what I used the blue fabric for that I'd chosen for Nightmare Before Coffee. And this is where I am with my, I want to call it Christmas Kraken, because it's a kraken, and it's going to have a string of Christmas lights. Now when Helen D did hers, she said she used Krynic to stitch the lights. And I thought, if Helen did it, I could do it. So I went through my stash of Krynic, and I found these two. I hate Krynic. And all those Mill Hill kits that I have, I've separated and sorted all the beads. So when I get around to doing the Christmas lights on my Christmas Kraken, Release the Christmas Lights. Seriously, she should have called it Christmas Kraken. That's me. I'm going to use my beads. So I went to her site and I found this one. And of course, when you're on Etsy and you put one thing in your basket, it goes, other people like. She had a package where you could get 4 patterns. They're all Christmas After Midnight. This first one is A Christmas Ghost Story. Yes. Baba Yaga's Gingerbread House. The house has chicken feet. Yes. Snow and Bones. Skeletons? Christmas? Yeah. And the last one. Christmas in the Belfry. Bats in the Belfry. Obviously, I needed to have these. I purchased all 5 of these patterns. And then I sent Helen a message. And I said, okay, I purchased these. And I asked her a question. I said, if I stitch them all, would you finish them for me? Yes, I know I can finish them myself. But Helen does amazing finishes. And she said yes. And it made me happy. So I am going to be working on my Christmas Kraken. Release the Christmas lights. The Christmas Kraken, I'm telling you. Yeah. I'm excited about stitching those. And I have to save the Bats in the Belfry one for the last because I know that if I stitched it next, I might not do the others. And I really want Baba Yaga's house with chicken feet. Yeah. Anyway, I have babbled long enough. Seriously, long enough. Christmas is next week. I am finishing up some Christmas gifts today. I'm doing some gift cards, so I just came upstairs and I took some stencils and I stenciled on my envelopes to make them look a little bit prettier. So I have hand decorated envelopes for Christmas gifts. I made some little projects that I'm going to give to some friends because tomorrow I'm supposed to go meet up with some friends for lunch and stitching, and so I made gifts to take up there with me, which I'm not going to share now because they might watch. Who knows? I made one for myself, so when I do my next video I will share it. I think I have talked about everything that I have wanted to talk about. We went and watched my granddaughter's school choir the other night, Thursday night. And I want to tell you something. That was absolutely amazing. We got there right before it started, so we ended up in the nosebleed seats in the school auditorium. I was still able to pick out my granddaughter on stage. And listening to these young people's voices singing Christmas carols, made my heart feel good. Made my heart feel good. So, this is my last video for this year. It's a week before Christmas. I hope that whatever holiday you celebrate, that you get to celebrate with people you love. I hope that you have enough food to sustain yourself. I hope that you are in a cozy home where you can stay warm from the winter cold if you're here in the northern hemisphere. Here in Silverton, we're in the Willamette Valley, we're in the green belt of Oregon. It has been chilly out. Every morning has been in the 20s. And there is the possibility of snow today or tomorrow. Fortunately, about being in the Willamette Valley, it usually doesn't stick. My concern is the ice underneath it because I don't want to slip and fall. I wish you all the very best of holidays. Whatever you celebrate, or if you don't celebrate, I just hope that you have enough of whatever you need and the grace to give yourself the right to step back and not do something if you don't want to. I wish you a blessed season. Until next year, my friends, live long and stitch on.